Happy Black History Month, guys. It's your boy M-phamis, been calling me welcome back. Alright, I finally had a chance to watch Joe's college road trip. Okay, I know if you ever clicked on this video, you know who Madea is, and you know who Joe is. Joe is Medea's, like, brother, and pretty much, like, he goes on a college road trip with his grandson, Brian's son, BJ, and let's say this is a good movie, I'm telling you. And it came in just in time for Black History Month. So, like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, check me out via alarm, links to everything down below. And guys, if you want to get my content before, like, you guys get to see it on YouTube, Instagram, and all that stuff, head over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description. The movie starts out with pretty much like an introduction about, like, who Joe is, and, like, how he, like, became a pimp. Because Joe used to be a pimp back in the day. He was pretty much like dropped out of like school when he was in 3rd grade, and like he'd been pimping for years. And it also warned us that this is not like your typical like Madea like movie. How there's gonna be like a lot of cursing, a lot more like N-bombs being thrown and all that stuff. And it kind of like warned you, hey, if you're not used to this type of stuff, you can get up out of here. Then the show actually does begin with Brian pretty much like walking to his house. He's pretty much coming upstairs to like talk to his son, and pretty much his son, BJ, Brian Jr., he's very nerdy, totally inept, and like not really that popular and stuff. BJ was with his friends, Stuart and Todd, they're 2 white dudes, and pretty much like they were like on the computer like looking at colleges, because BJ got accepted to multiple colleges, and he told them like, hey, he got accepted at Morehouse. Brian was really excited and really happy, but BJ told him like, hey, Dad, I'm not really gonna go to that because of the shithole college. And Brian was like flabbergasted, like, boy, this is like the most famous HBCU out there. And like, one of the boys like asked him like, HBCU, what's that? Historically black colleges. Brian was still flabbergasted because like, BJ and like his friends was like saying, oh, Morehouse is like a shithole college. Brian was telling them like, hey, like, but Dr. Martin Luther King actually went to that college, boy. You better not disrespect Morehouse. Then, like, one of the boys, like, said, oh, why is there not, like, historically white colleges? And Brian's telling him, like, boy, every college is like an historic white colleges. BJ pretty much told Brian that, like, him and his friends are planning to, like, go on a cross-country road trip to California to, like, check out this campus on California, see if that's good for him and all that stuff. Brian, like, told, like, the 2 boys, like, hey, your parents really need to, like, came here to, like, call and, like, get ready and stuff, because y'all gotta go. Then Brian kind of, like, realized that, hey, he really needed to have a talk with BJ, but BJ kind of, like, went with them, and Brian realized that, oh my god, I really still have my son here. Brian went to Madea and Joe's house, and pretty much, like, told him, like, what's going on. And Madea and Joe were, like, roasting him, like, this whole time, like, Brian, what's wrong with you? You've been raising that boy, like, in that private school with a bunch of white people, with a bunch of white kids all this time. How did you expect him to still be proud to be black when you never, like, told him, like, the history of this stuff? Like, Madea and Joe and Brian were, like, talking about, like, when was it a good time, like, for, like, kids to, like, know about, like, what racism is. Then Brian, like, realized that, like, going to them was a mistake. Then we cut to, like, Brian and BJ at, like, this little, like, graduation party. It's, like, them celebrating, like, them graduating stuff. One of the kids, like, parents, like, talked to Brian about, like, how BJ is not that good, even though BJ has, like, a 4.0 GPA, and, like, he's just a diversity hire and insulted him. Alright, trying to speed things up. Brian went back to Madea and pretty much told her, like, hey, you guys were right, what should you do? Madea suggested that Joe takes BJ on that road trip and, like, teach him how to be black and teach him about life. Brian was against it at first. Brian told Joe that, hey, Daddy, you can, like, take him on that trip. BJ and Brian pretty much showed up at the house, and pretty much Brian had to, like, tell, like, BJ a lie that Joe was dying, so that way he can, like, go to that trip. BJ was, like, suggesting that they take, like, his, like, new electric car that Brian bought him, but, like, Joe was, like, having, like, none of that. They decided to, like, take, like, Joe's old car from the 70s. BJ was reluctant to go, but he went along with it anyway. And pretty much, like, him and Joe was on the road. They stayed at the hotel where MLK got killed. They went to, like, a plantation. They went to Tulsa, Oklahoma. They went to Birmingham, Alabama. They went to the place where Emmett Till died. Joe pretty much had, like, a little bar fight with, a bunch of white supremacist dudes. Eventually, like, they made it to Texas where they pretty much were in a whorehouse. Joe set BJ up with this girl named Destiny that was being like sex trafficked by a pimp that kind of like left her there. BJ like had a plan to like get her out there. Eventually like Joe found out about the whole thing and pretty much like Destiny like came along with them. Joe and like BJ kind of like had a little argument, kicked him out of the car. BJ and Destiny got like a room together. BJ got laid, and eventually like he started studying Black history. Joe and BJ pretty much made up and pretty much told him to like get on the road because the trafficker dudes are like right behind them. And pretty much like the traffickers came up to them. There was like a cool car chase. Joe got his guns and started shooting at the traffickers. Then BJ started like joining him. Eventually like Brian like showed up with SWAT team. Managed to like defeat the sex trafficker dudes. In the end, Brian and BJ kind of like made up and like he decided to like go to Morehouse College now. And he decided to like finish like the whole road trip with Destiny and Joe. And they pretty much like drove out in the sunset, and the movie was over. What up, y'all? Happy Black History Month. Alright, Joe's College Road Trip. I really do like this movie, man. And people have been complaining about, oh, Tyler Perry gone away from God, from his Christian messaging. And no, he's saying like, oh, this movie's not for kids, don't watch it with your kids. 90% of, okay, not 90%. At least 100% of all his movies, most of his shows, most of them revolve around things that should not be around children at all. And at least one thing the film did, at least they bothered to give a disclaimer saying like, hey, this is not your typical Madea movie. There's a lot more cursing, a lot more vulgar crap that you don't typically see in like the Madea franchise. But again, like seriously, this is not. I'm just saying the Madea franchise or any of Tyler Perry's movies have never been tailored towards kids. But yet, we always let our kids. Well, some of us do actually let our kids watch some of this stuff. But I digress. But anywho, like seriously, bro, that is just a fake ass argument, man. I mean, I get it. Tyler Perry's audience is mostly Christian. Okay, I gotta admit. I mean, like, I was wondering, okay, Tyler Perry, you need to keep doing more movies with Joe than Madea at this point. Because Madea is getting too old to be, like, being, like, the main character in the whole Madea franchise. Focus on other characters, man. I mean, well, he has focused on the other characters from the Madea franchise, like, Cora and Mr. Brown. I mean, I remember, like, a couple years ago, and like before the assisted living TV show came on, there was Meet the Browns? Not only the movie, but there was also a TV show. Honestly, man, like bro, from now on, Joe and Joe only, man. You know that I feel like this movie is the type of movie we kind of need, and the fact that this movie came out around Black History Month, thank God, hallelujah. That's all I'm saying on that one. Okay, for Joe to really, like, be a pimp for real, I'm just saying, if you guys been, like, watching, like, some of, like, I don't know, like, all the other Madea movies, like, for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years right now, I mean, most of the time, like, Joe being a pimp thing, that was, like, played as a joke, but in this movie, it really is a real thing, like, he actually was a pimp for real. And it makes sense, like, why, they actually leaned in on that backstory, because, well, I mean, it's part of the plot, though. I mean, the girl Destiny was being, like, chased around by a pimp, and they tried to rescue her? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, honestly, man, any one of us could be like Brian if we had a dad like Joe, man. Because, dang, man, Joe has really fucked up that kid. I'm like, Joe, like, throwing him into a river full of alligators, to, like, Joe, like, making him, like, watch a woman give birth in real time, and that woman was a hoe that whole time that he was trying to, like, hurry up and get her all back on the corner and stuff. Damn, that was nuts. I don't know, it was pretty dark, but I'm just saying, bro, like, without the music, and without, like, you know, like, some of the lines that Joe was saying, in that whole flashback situation, it would have been a lot darker if it hadn't been for those lines, man. Like, he said, bitch, let's go back to Soul Train. Now that, I'm sorry, man, that scene always made me laugh. I always watch that scene over and over again. It's just too funny. I'm just saying, I mean, I know that, like, what was shown was not funny, but the way that it's shown it was really funny, man. I couldn't stop laughing. Okay, on some serious stuff, though, Brian, bro, what is wrong with you, man? Like, seriously? You expect, okay, you raised your son, you raised your kids in a predominantly white area for most of their lives. You never actually like sat down and actually had the talk with them. Which okay, the talk about like racism, white supremacy, bro. That's like rule number one when it comes to black parents, man. Like there's no ands, ifs, but nothing. Bro, in this country, black children are never treated as just children, and like they can't just ignore this. Eventually, they will deal with these problems as they get older, as they become grown adults and stuff. For us to not like teach our kids like, hey, racism is real, and like there are serious consequences if we don't navigate the world correctly, we could possibly end up dead. Ryan really did screw up. He really did his son a disservice, man. Like seriously, like you never talked about him not one time. Also, though, I can't really blame Brian 100% of the time because if you really think about it, if I was raised like Joe, I would do everything in my power to make sure like I don't expose my kids to like none of this like this vulgar, this like real harsh shit about life. I would do everything I can, but I know that would be wrong of me to do so. I want to point something out here, guys. I'm not a parent, and like again, like bro. I understand, especially if I ever like had a son one day, bro. I mean, you cannot shelter him, especially he's a young black man. No, you cannot like shelter them. You cannot like sugarcoat nothing. You have to be like really. I mean, again, like I said, not a parent, but if I was one, I know I'm not sugarcoating nothing when it comes to my sons or my daughters. I can't sugarcoat things. Okay, at PJ's graduation like ceremony or cookout, whatever, or I don't know, whatever the heck that was. Point is, like, bro, Brian went to like a white therapist to tell him like, oh, PJ don't know where he comes from. I'm worried about that. And she's like, what was it? And what's the problem with that? Bro, you really think a white therapist would be able to like understand or even know this stuff? No, the frick they don't. Bro, you lost your mind. And bro, what'd you expect? Like, what was it? PJ's the best in his class. Like, yeah, what was it? One's the parents of the students saying that, oh, he was just a DEI hire. I mean, look at him. Like, Brian, you did not even notice that? You did not notice that you and your son are the only two black people here? Bro, like, okay, you really have fucked up, Brian. You really screwed up, man. You really fucked up. No, not screwed up. Fucked up. You fucked up. In my opinion, like, one of the most funniest scenes in the whole movie was when Joe was fighting, like, a bar full of Klan guys. Honestly, man, I was enjoying the living hell of it. And the fact that, like, Joe, like, pulled, like, a folding chair out of his pants and just, like, bam, bam. No, that was funny, man. That was really funny. And all that, like, him doing, like, the Matrix thing, where pretty much he was, like, bullet timing, where he was, like, jumping up in the air and kicking the heck out of him, like, crane kick, like, what was that movie? Oh, yeah, Karate Kid. No, that was pretty good, though. And really funny, though. Okay, real talk, man, real talk. Joe pretty much, like, giving BJ, like, that whole, like, little pep talk about, like, look, boy, generations before you, people have gone through hell just to get you guys to this point, to get this generation up to this point. It's up for you guys to keep fighting, though. Even though we've done the heavy lifting in the past, there's some heavy lifting you gotta do, too. Every generation had it worse than you. Now, that was some real shit. I'm not gonna lie, man. I feel inspired after, like, hearing that, man. Because that was some real talk. That was some real shit, man. That was some real shit. Okay, one of the things I was not expecting was the Miss Pat cameo in, like, the whole brothel thing. Now, that was pretty funny, though. Okay, the whole brothel thing, okay, I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely, like, Joe himself. Because, again, like, throughout, like, the Madea franchise, I mean, again, it was implied that he was a pimp back in the day, but that used to be played as a joke. And, like, him, like, knowing about the hoes and all that stuff. That makes sense to, like, put that in this movie. Being honest with you, like, I really just like the poster for this movie. Because it does, like, give you, like, old blaxploitation vibes. It kind of feels like Black Dynamite. Or, let's see, what's another... Okay, I guess there ain't nothing like Black Dynamite, though. The point is, it kind of does give, like, a vibe of a blaxploitation film. I mean, the movie really do talk about, like, the whole, like, generational divide between, like, Joe's generation versus, like, the most younger generation. I mean, BJ's character is pretty much, like, a textbook definition, or at least a stereotypical, I would say stereotypical depiction of what a Gen Z kid is, pretty much. Like, the oversensitivity stuff, always trying to cancel people and all that crap. In my honest opinion though, I feel like the dynamic between like Joe and BJ kind of does feel like a Rick and Morty kind of situation a little bit. I don't know, just give me that vibe though. Also, I do like Destiny, the character, because I'm not gonna lie, because, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, normally when it comes to like, you know, stereotypical depictions of prostitutes, like how they're like dumb, well, probably drunken, or probably like some like idiot whore, it kind of does like, I mean, kind of does flip that trope on its head. I know that the fact that she was able to like, well, they automatically recognize that on sight real quick. I mean, what was it, like in the hotel scene, where she, like, what was it, like there was like a game show going on, and like, what was it, she managed to get like all the answers right. It proves one thing, that hoes, hookers, or streetwalkers, or any woman working in the sex industry, they ain't done, bro. They ain't done. Also, I really just love like the chase scene with the pimps like trying to go after them. Now that was pretty good though. And honestly, man, I honestly think that there's a potential for a sequel, because if you guys really think about it for a second, the pimp that was chasing like Destiny down, he's an Iranian pimp. You don't think that he could be working for somebody way bigger than that? And keep in mind, like, once it comes to pimps and like sex traffickers, and if one of their hoes is on the run, they're relentless, man. So he could be the middleman for like getting Destiny like out of the country or something. Okay, I really did like the ending. The ending was pretty good though. Brian really did acknowledge the fact that he really screwed up with his son. And like, what was it, BJ changed his mind? Now that was finally good. Finally. I really did like the part where Joe like quoted the color purple, where he said, I may be poor, I may be black, I may be ugly, but thank God, I'm here. Oh my god, the color purple was a good movie. Okay, specifically, not the new one, the old one. The one Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah. Not the new one. Hell no. But like I said, man, like, it's time for Joe's time to shine, man. Madea, I mean, we love y'all. We love you, Madea, but it's time for you to sit down and chill out for 1 minute. At least, like, no more. No more. At least, well, okay, we don't know how long. I would probably say the next 20 years, 40 years. Then yeah, you can bring Madea back. But for right now, Joe. We need more Joe in the Madea franchise. Alright, y'all, that was Joe's College Road Trip. That was a pretty good movie. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Tyler Perry, this is your best work that you came out with in a very long time. And I hope I'm dead serious, man. You need to do more movies with Joe. It's time for his time to shine. Bro, the storyline is just so, bro, it just feels to me, man. It just really speaks to me, you know? And again, this movie came out just in time during Black History Month. Alright, yo, your boy gotta go. Like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, channel out your art. Post everything down below. And guys, if you want to get my videos like before they hit on YouTube, head over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description down below. Happy Black History Month. M3 Bullet, out.